Good afternoon. Welcome back to Deb's True Crime Notebook, where we read the documents for you so you don't have to. Well, we have the remainder of Melissa Oberg's testimony. As you recall, she's the person who did the testing of the bullet and the guns. She has, lots and lots of experience, and she has testified in 112 trials. So it was very interesting to see what she had to say. She was very knowledgeable, very concise, very clear. It seemed like it went over very well for the prosecution. We will have to see what the defense says when they do a cross-examination of her. So let's get into the information that she relayed this afternoon. Oberg reported that she examined 2 additional firearms. The first, a Smith & Wesson model .40 caliber, did not exhibit similar class characteristics. The second, a Sig Sauer pistol, displayed similar class characteristics. However, the subclass characteristics did not match. She noted that the findings were inconclusive at that time. Oberg explained that she conducted 8 test cycles on all of the firearms in a water tank. She emphasized that they always perform test firings, even if a cartridge has cycled without firing, to gather more information. On October 14, 2022, Oberg received 4 items retrieved from Allen's residence: a Sig Sauer model P226 .40 caliber pistol, a Winchester .40 caliber cartridge, a Blazer .40 caliber cartridge, 2 magazines containing .40 caliber Blazer cartridges, and the jury was presented with the photographs of all the items, and the items themselves were submitted as evidence. Oberg also explained how a cartridge is cycled through a firearm. With a semi-automatic handgun, you pull the slide part of the gun to cycle a cartridge to prepare to fire it. If you pull the slide back again without firing, the cartridge is ejected. If instead you fire the gun, the bullet shoots out of the barrel and the empty case is ejected. Oberg demonstrated this process for the jurors using a dummy cartridge from the ISP labs and a real handgun. Oberg explained the kinds of marks that are left on cartridges, including lands and grooves. These are all called class characteristics. She discussed the different elements that can be used to disqualify certain cartridges from certain firearms. For example, the caliber of the cartridge must match the firearm. Oberg explained that subclass characteristics are features that arise during manufacturing and are consistent among certain items produced by the same tool at the same time. These characteristics are not predetermined and are more specific than class characteristics. She then discussed individual characteristics, which are the random flaws and irregularities found on a specific tool surface. These can result from factors like use, abuse, or corrosion. Oberg illustrated this with the example of a dent in a car door, which is unique to that particular vehicle and not shared by all vehicles or all cars of the same make and model. Oberg guided the jury through the analysis process, which consists of the following levels. 1. Evaluating the condition of the evidence while examining class characteristics. 2. Firing a firearm multiple times to observe the interior, and using a comparison microscope to examine several objects at once to identify individual characteristics. On October 14, 2022, Oberg received 4 items taken from Allen's home, as we discussed earlier. Again, it was a Sig Sauer model P226 .40 caliber pistol, a Winchester .40 caliber cartridge, a Blazer .40 caliber cartridge, 2 magazines with a .40 caliber Blazer cartridges. The jury was shown photos of all the items, and the items themselves were entered in as evidence. Oberg said they received that evidence 5.5 years after the crime scene cartridge. Oberg said after testing Richard Allen's Sig Sauer model P226, the ejector marks matched those found on the cartridge near Abby and Libby's bodies. Oberg showed the jury photos taken with the comparison microscope that showed the magic bullet, as the defense likes to refer to it, had marks that matched those on a cartridge that had been fired from Richard Allen's gun. Oberg then presented images of the gun's interior to pinpoint the sources of the markings. These included subclass markings on the ejector, the front face of the chamber extractor marks beneath the rim of the cartridge. Oberg dedicated considerable time to meticulously explain the process in intricate detail. Allen's defense attorney, Brad Rosie, raised an objection, arguing that much of the scholarly research cited by Oberg did not pertain specifically to Allen's model of gun. However, Special Judge Francis Gull overruled this objection. The prosecution attempted to show the jury 2 videos demonstrating the manufacturing and assembly of Sig Sauer firearms, but encountered technical issues. Let's recap what Melissa Oberg had to say as far as the testing of the firearms. Melissa Oberg tested several firearms, including a Sig Sauer, not Richards at first, but a Sig Sauer, just to have a comparison to make sure that the marks they were seeing weren't just part of the actual process of making those guns and that each one is the same, right? So she did that, and there was nothing that matched. I think she marked it inconclusive. She talked about the fact that if you racked the gun, the bullet would be in the chamber. But if you unracked it and then racked it again, the bullet would be ejected out. And we believe that that is what happened. She also talked about the fact that she received Richard Allen's Sig Sauer model P226 and a Winchester caliber .40 cartridge and a Blazer .40 caliber cartridge from his home, 2 magazines with .40 caliber Blazer cartridges in it as well. She stated upon testing Richard Allen's weapons that it did in fact match the Sig Sauer. She then allowed the jury to see photos of the inside of the Sig Sauer showing what actually made those imprints on the bullet. And that's a recap of what we heard this afternoon from Oberg in the Richard Allen trial. We'll see you next time on Deb's True Crime Notebook. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a message, do all the things, ring that bell for notifications, and share this with your friends and in your groups. I wanted to pop back in here before I actually let you guys go. I just wanted to tell you how much I appreciate all the comments that you're making. They're smart, thoughtful comments. People are being kind and not disrespectful, and I think that says a lot about all of you, the viewers. I also want to thank all of the people who have helped me to gather information and tell them that even though I don't know if I can name their names at this point, I really appreciate each and every one of them. So once again, thank you, and I'll see you back soon.